welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, my name is Chelsea, and obviously Daniel is not here today because it's a Sunday video. But if you are new here, Daniel is my boyfriend. We live together and we make videos on Fridays at 6 PM and then I do videos on 4 PM on Sundays. So yes, so as you can see by the title, this is again part of my Get Into Midwifery series. If you're new here, this is, I think, like video 4 of my midwifery series that I'm doing for you guys. You know, I have applied to uni several times. I've always been invited for selection test days and stuff. May not have always got a place, but I've always been invited, so means that my personal statement and UCAS application was good because I got invited back. So yeah, so I've learned a lot of things along this long process of getting into uni. So again, if you are new, I am starting in September of 2021, so next year. Yeah, I start my journey finally, so I'm very excited. Obviously I'm going to be doing loads of videos to do with that, like a whole midwifery series and stuff, but this is my Getting Into Midwifery series. So as you can see by the title, I'm giving you top 10 personal statement tips for getting into midwifery school, basically. This can obviously apply to anyone applying to uni. Doesn't matter what course, obviously the tips will help because it's still writing a personal statement at the end of the day. But obviously this is more specific to midwifery, because I'm going to give you tips for midwifery. So before we start this video, this is not sponsored by the way, this is just because I love this book so much. I'm going to show you a book that I recommend you buying for getting into midwifery because it's literally amazing. It's called Becoming a Student Midwife. This is the second edition, so it's the newest one. It's just got a few updates in it. The Survival Guide for Passionate Applicants by Ellie Durrant. She is the founder of, well, this book. She's got another book out. I can't remember what it's called. I haven't read it yet, but I went to her signing of it, I think 2 years ago now. But she is the founder of the secret community of midwives on Facebook. So also go on that page because there's loads of like cool things you can see and loads of midwives and students and so on that page. But essentially this book is, I'll give you like a little rundown. So it obviously helps you choose universities, UCAS, entry requirements, grades, experience in volunteering, study tricks, personal statement tips, nervous and how to handle, like, you know, when you go to like interviews and stuff. And then it's got questions you should prepare yourself. And also, like, it's got at the back answering numeracy and literacy questions and also questions to do with interviewing, basically. So it is a good book. Actually, everyone who has gotten into uni will recommend this book. Everyone uses this book. Like, I swear I see everyone using this book. So I highly recommend this. And also, if you are new here, actually I don't know if I've mentioned it, but I will be giving away this book. And the other one, which is like the test book one, and some notes for maths, and a notebook. But that's obviously not going to come yet. That's going to come in sometime in the new year when I get my maths grades, to essentially do a giveaway at the end of this thing. Because obviously I'm not going to be able to finish this series until the new year, because obviously to end it I'm going to be doing it if I get into my university or not, because obviously I need to pass my maths. And I did my maths test yesterday, so yeah, exciting. So yeah, let's just get into it. So I am going to share a little bit of my personal statement, but not a lot. But once I do actually get my unconditional offer and I know I'm going to uni, I'm going to do a separate video where I literally share to you my whole personal statement. I saw V do it. She's part of the study community here on YouTube. So I'm going to share to you my personal statement, but for now I'm only going to share like a little bit. So I've got my notes. So first tip is start as you mean to go on. So what I mean is by this is a great opening. You need a great statement, opening paragraph. So the first paragraph is vital because generally a lot of, because obviously when you apply, as you probably know, applying for midwifery is very hard because so many people are applying for this one course. Say you've got 40 places at a uni, so the tutors and stuff who read these personal statements, they're going to get bored after a while because there's so many to read. And I know that sounds a bit rubbish, but it's true. So you need to make it stand out with your first like opening paragraph for them to actually like, oh, this sounds good, let me carry on reading it. Because a lot of the time they might just throw it to the side if they don't think it's that good. And honestly, a lot of them probably do that. So you're going to make sure there's no wrong spelling, no not interesting, so they'll just skip it basically. Don't add something that doesn't add to what you're writing. So like, don't just ramble on about something that you're not going to talk about, do you know what I mean? Don't just throw something in there and not talk about it. So yeah, so I'm going to kind of read you something that I wrote on my pen. I'm just like going to read you the first, let me see what I can, right, I'll read you the first 2 sentences on my thingy. So, midwifery has always been a part of my life. Being the youngest sister of 3, I've had the privilege of witnessing the different stages of my sister's pregnancies. I was involved in one sister's pregnancy from start to finish. I attended all of her scans and appointments with the midwife, and I was also fortunate enough to deliver my niece with the midwife by my side. And then I go on to talk about my other sister's pregnancies and how these experiences heightened my experiences, like my interest basically. And then I also went on to speak about my EPQ project because it linked to one of my elder sister's pregnancies. So I brought that into it too. So that was a good opening, because it obviously was, because I always got invited to interviews like I've said. I mean test days, but unfortunately I never passed the maths test, which was my downfall. But it's fine because we've got in now, so yeah, so that's how I started off my personal statement. So just kind of like, have a great opening statement. Like, that's going to be so important, because obviously, like I said, like that's the first part they read, and if it's not interesting, they're just going to skip past. So yeah. So then the second thing, well, actually, yeah. So annotations. So something that relates to you and will flow with your statement. Then add it, but don't just go look for a quote, and because you don't want to waste words, basically. So if you want to add, say, a book or a quote that you find, like, because you can add quotes for technically this is part of point 1, because you can add a quote for your opening statement, but make sure like it's not just a quote you found. Like, if it relates to what you want to write about, then cool, include it, but don't just throw a quote in there, because they'll be able to tell, and that's just boring for them, let's be honest. And you don't want to waste words, because like I said, you don't get a lot of words with your personal statement, and you're trying to like convince them to take you on for this course, so don't waste your words. So if you want to add a quote, make sure it relates to what you're going to be writing about. If not, scrap it off. It's not worth the waste. So you want a short and snappy statement to basically start off your statement. So say, like, for example, similar to what I put, or say what midwifery, like what midwives are, or something relating to your journey. So kind of show to them that you know what a midwife is and why you're going into that. Some people will say how they know the hardship, the struggles that you will go through as a midwife. Kind of make them understand that you know what a midwife is and what they do. They don't just deliver babies. So yeah. Also, this is another one. Don't start with I want to be a midwife because da 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 da. It doesn't make you stand out. You need to be original, talk about yourself, your views, etc. Because that's just boring. And also, don't say things like, I've always wanted to be a midwife. No, you haven't. You didn't come out the vagina ready to be a midwife. So be realistic, because they're going to look at that like, okay, we've seen that loads of times, scrap it, next pile. So be unique. Don't copy someone that you've seen someone's personal statement. For example, don't copy every word of mine. Be realistic, be unique, because that's what they're looking for. So yeah. So second personal statement tip is check terminology and keywords. So grab attention of the reader, topic or specialized subject. So like, for example, use words like oxytocin, skin to skin, bonding, women-centered care, advocate, informed choice, continuity of care, safety and communication, midwife mother relationship, resilience and consent, dignity and autonomous, I don't know how to say that word, practitioner, empathy and compassion. So use words like that if you can. Look at what they mean in midwifery basically, and kind of try and link it to what you want to write about, because those words are very important, and they'll be like, oh, she knows some words, like, because those words are quite good words and they're really used a lot in midwifery, so those words are important. Don't use words like, I would, I won't, I want, and so use different words. So like, look at the dictionary for words for like a different word for I would or something like that. Just kind of be different. Don't use those same words, because people repeat those words over and over and over again, and they just get bored of them really. Like, just get a more interesting word in there. You know, this is your chance to shine, so shine. Yes. So, number 3 is have a clear structure. So stick to the same tense of writing. If you don't know what I mean by that, look on BBC Bite Size and have a look at the different kinds of writing styles there is, and kind of stick to one that you think is good for you. Because, you know, you need to express how you write. You've got 4,000 words or 47 lines, whichever one you get to first. So it's very stressful, so don't waffle on. Look at drafts online. And also UCAS has some worksheets that I found when I was doing my personal statement, which is quite handy. So I'll try and find them, or like find the link, and I'll try and link it down below. But yeah, it is a stressful time writing your personal statement, so you need to make sure you have a clear structure and you're getting everything across, because you don't want to waste words, and you don't want to waffle, because waffling gets you nowhere. So yeah, like, you need to kind of include like a subject, key points, and then relate to midwifery, because you can relate anything to midwifery. Literally anything can be related to midwifery. Such as, say you do a group work at school, or you work as a group in a team. For example, I work as a team in Primark. You can relate that to midwifery, because you're doing teamwork, you're working as a team, and you work as a team in midwifery because you work with nurses, doctors, loads of different careers and stuff. So, you know, or you could have worked in a pub, so you've got excellent communication because you're communicating with your customers. You know, there's so many different things you can relate to it. But make sure your writing is flows nicely, because you don't want it to just like, you talk about this and then you move on to something else, because then it's like, what does that doesn't make sense, so don't do it. Expand on what you've written as well, and make it make sense, because you don't want to say, oh, for example, I studied health and social care in sixth form, and then move on to something else, because it doesn't make sense. You need to expand on why you've mentioned that you did health and social care in sixth form and what you've learnt from that and how that's gonna help you regarding midwifery, basically, you know, studying. So yeah, so am I on 3? No, I'm on 4, right? I think I'm on 4. So 4 is basically your different paragraphs. So 1, introduction. 2, work experience / academic achievements. 3, hobbies / transferable skills. 4, reading and topic of interest and current reading issues. Yeah, so I'm going to kind of show you, well, tell you, not show you, the way I structured my personal statement, like the different paragraphs I did. So obviously the first paragraph was just an introduction, introduction into my personal statement, basically. Then I did my academic achievement stuff, kind of things. So I said first thingy was studying health and social care prepared me for midwifery. I learned about barriers to communication and different appropriate ways of speaking to a range of people. And then I talked a bit more about what I learned regarding in that course. And then I also said in the second part of that paragraph is the ability to work effectively with a range of people and understand these topics is incredibly important for midwifery. And I also spoke about what I learned in applied science as well regarding like human regulation and stuff. So that was all about my my school achievements, basically what I learned in school. So that was my second paragraph. Then the third paragraph, because I only did 4 paragraphs. So the third paragraph is about my midwifery experiences. So I talked about my my local hospital experience that I had, and then saw how this made me want to pursue more experience to see. So then I went on to talk about my Tanzania trip and Ghana trips. Kind of spoke about what I did in those like countries, what I did over there. And then I said as the last bit, I kind of compared the 2 experiences together and how they compared to the United Kingdom. And how it's given me the confidence to start a midwifery degree, basically. So yeah. So for example, for that first, I'll tell you what I wrote in that first paragraph. The first thingy. So right, I've completed a weekend placement in said hospital. On the labour ward, observing women in labour, which was amazing. I was able to witness several births ranging from natural to cesareans. This was an amazing opportunity, and it made me realise midwifery was definitely the career I want to pursue. So yes, and then the last bit was just kind of an ending, which was I'm not going to tell you because this is going to give it away. But I just basically said it's a rewarding profession, and I look forward to working in said field. And then I said about how I'm quite interested in doing like overseas midwifery. So yeah, but I'll read it to all you one day. You know, you'll see it one day. But there's so many ways you can structure, like, do different paragraphs. Like, there's so many different like drafts online. So have a look and see how you kind of want to write it. Write everything down and then see what paragraphs you want to write on what. So yeah, so that was 4, right? Yeah. So the next one was this technically, no, I'll do it as a separate topic. So don't waffle on. I've mentioned this before, but don't waffle on about babies. Midwife means with women. So if you want to work with children or babies, you might be suited with child nursing. And if you mention a lot of that stuff, they're going to offer you a child nursing degree maybe, or maybe just suggest that you apply for child nursing. Because holding babies is just a small majority of the job. So yeah, like, obviously when I went to Tanzania and stuff, a lot of the time we were holding babies, but that's not midwifery, you know. Midwifery, sometimes you can hold babies if the mum needs help or needs a break for a few hours, and you can hold the baby if you've got time to. But it's not about babies. You're there for the woman, you're there to support her during her pregnancy and also after her pregnancy, and obviously help her through labour and stuff. But essentially you're there for the woman, not for the baby. So don't waffle on about babies, please, because then you're just going to like sacrifice all your chances. So it's not worth it. Okay, so next one, so that's 6. Yeah, 6. Read and reference. So, topic of interest. So your topic of interest, so your passion about this. Use statistics, reading, quotes, etc. Don't reference Call the Midwife or One Born Every Minute, because, oh no, midwives hate that. Every time I've gone to an open day, they've spoken, they was like, don't mention Call the Midwife or what was the other one? I've just lost it. Where's it gone? One Born Every Minute, because literally like they're so unrealistic. That's that. Obviously Call the Midwife, that was based in like the 60s days, so it's not like how midwifery is now. And One Born Every Minute is just so cliche. Like, midwives hate that program because it's not realistic at all. Like, apparently it's just rubbish. So don't reference those if you do watch them, because it's just not going to help. But if you obviously read a book, and it's to do with the topic you're talking about, then you can mention that book. But if you do mention the book, make sure you know that book off by heart, or you know most parts of the book, because in your interview they will ask you about that said book, because they reference to your personal statement. So they will ask you. So only include things that you know you're 100% sure can talk about, because they will ask you. And also quotes, if you want to mention a quote, but only if it links to what you're talking about. Otherwise, just leave it out. It's not worth it. Only if you think it's necessary to include it, then include it. So things you could read about are saving babies' lives, fetal health, smoking, diabetes maternal, so yeah, diabetes in pregnancy, and better births, because better births is, I think, a movement. I can't remember what. It's something that's quite big in the midwifery career community right now. I've not actually had the chance to read it, but I do want to read it before starting new university. So maybe look into things like that. I looked into things like what's going on in the world right now in midwifery regarding that. So you can talk about things going on with coronavirus. If you want to include things like that, then you can, and say how, I don't know, just link everything to your personal statement if you think it's important, because, you know, further reading is very important. Obviously it shows that you're really interested in stuff. But yeah, also 2 books. This is what a few midwives have, student midwives have recommended. I haven't actually had the chance to read them yet, but they have recommended Raw Behind the Silence and Birth Like a Feminist. So maybe have a look at those and see if you want to link it to your personal statement. Like again, I said, only include books and quotes and stuff if you're going to remember everything about them, or a article you've read. Make sure you know it, because they will ask you, like I said. So yeah, but form your opinions and facts, basically, like gather information together and then see if you want to include it or not. So yeah, that was 6, wasn't it? I think that was 6. Yeah, so we're on 7 then. So relate, I think I've mentioned this previously, but relate everything to midwifery. Any skill can be transferable skills. So what can you bring to the table? So you could say something like, I'm highly motivated because blah blah blah. Know the 6 C's and the code, the NCM code. You could say what the 6 C's are. Relate the 6 C's to what you're writing about. So compassion, I think. Yeah, compassion is one of the 6 C's. I don't know them off by heart, but you can find it online. Yeah, so basically start off with writing down all your skills and what they can relate to regarding the 6 C's. So you can say how you cared for your elderly grandma or your niece, which gave you compassion, and you can relate it to anything. So just relate it back to your skills, but kind of make sure you're bringing in the 6 C's to relate it, because then that shows them, oh, she knows the 6 C's, because you're going to need to know the 6 C's as a midwife. So yeah. Number 8 is write with confidence and sell yourself. Explode your ego on paper. Put your passion into paper. So we're always told, don't be a big head, you know, or it's not everything's about you. But your personal statement is 4,000 words or 47 lines, all about you, okay? So make your ego come out. Put everything on that paper. Show your passion. Like, passion can come through writing, so make sure you're putting your passion out there. Like, you're not just going to be able to show your passion at the interview. You can show it with your personal statement. So yeah, so talk about your hobbies, looking at you as a person, what you like sports. So sports, you're determined and motivated. Work-life balance with normal life. Say how you can put those two together so you don't get burnt out and stuff. You can literally talk about anything related to you, because you can relate it back to midwifery. So that was what, 7? Or was it 8? No, we're 8, right? No. Yeah. No, we're 8. I think we're on number 8. So grammar and rewrite. So get everyone you know that you trust, like family, friends, teachers, tutor, to read through your personal statement and give you criticised feedback, because that is important. You're going to write a lot of drafts for your personal statement, because it takes a while to get perfect. So get a load of people to read it for you, give you feedback on it, people who you know who will actually give you proper criticism feedback, because that's important. So draft and draft again. I think I had 10 drafts all together. I think my 11th was my perfect one. But yeah, so you will eventually find the right personal statement to actually send on your UCAS application, but it does take time. So don't worry that it's taking you a while, because it does. Everyone takes a while. You will get there. My camera died, so I apologise. I'm now filming on my phone, because I don't have time to charge my camera before finishing this video, because I need to get ready for work. So yeah, so basically teacher, friend, family, someone you trust to give you proper feedback, like I said. Also try and get someone in the midwifery related sector to read it as well. So you could find someone who's a student midwife, or if you know a midwife, just try and find anyone. So many people online would be able to help you. I know Ellie Durrant has a program on personal statement writing. I think you have to pay for it, but I've heard a lot of people use it. It's quite good. But I know a few student midwives who will read your personal statements good. I can't say I'm the best, but I can give it a read if you want me to. So do email me on Instagram and stuff. or even email me. My email address is down below, I believe. So yeah, so I think we're on 10, or I've actually got 11 points to give you then. So 10 is the role of the midwife. So know what they do, for example, like their shift patterns, because they don't just work 9 to 5. They'll do like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. or 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. The ones who work in community, I believe, do like 9 to 5, I think. So they do 9 to 5 sometimes. Just kind of know the difference. Difference between home/hospital births, like roles, like what the different midwife does in those roles. Talk about parts of the role that excites you. So if you're into, say, the labour ward, talk about that. It's okay to have a preference. Like, everyone has a preference. For me, I personally love labour ward. I haven't experienced community or anything like that, apart from when obviously I was with my nieces, my sister, and she had my niece and stuff. So yeah, but you can talk about that if you want. If you prefer community, talk about community. If you prefer postnatal, talk about postnatal. Yeah, just talk about what excites you. And then again, why you want to be a midwife, or what midwives actually do, how it's changed from years. You can look from, like, say, the 60s to now. You can talk about before we had the NHS to how it is now. There's loads of different things to write about, essentially. So don't worry about that. You can literally write about anything, as long as it shows why you want to be a midwife and, you know, things you've done that can relate to it and stuff. So yeah. And then the last one is, don't over exaggerate any skills that you have, because you will be found out. So don't say you've delivered a baby and you've never delivered a baby before, because they're going to ask you about it and you're not going to know what to say because you've never seen a baby being born. So yeah, essentially just don't over exaggerate of what you have done, because you will be found out. Just be honest, because what's the point in lying, you know? Be mindful of what you're writing. Correct planning and preparation is important. So make sure you plan your statement before even writing anything, so you can make like a mind map and put the different things you want to talk about, and then add the little things onto that to say what that relates to and stuff. Also, don't add anything you don't know, such as a book. They will ask you in your interview, like I've said. And also, if you mention the 6 C's, make sure you know what the 6 C's are, because they actually might ask you what the 6 C's are, and you don't want to be caught off guard, because that's embarrassing and they're going to know that you lied in your personal statement and they're not going to be able to believe you. So they're not going to expect you to know everything, because that's what you're going into uni to do, to learn about everything. But just know like little bits of what the midwife does. And yeah, so it's more so just trying to get your input. Like, they know you're not going to have a lot of experience and stuff, especially now because of COVID. A lot of people haven't been able to get to experience. Like, you're not even allowed to go to the travel companies. Like, I go and plan my gap year for my midwifery experiences, which I've done Ghana, and obviously I will be doing them again to do Sri Lanka and probably Bali. I think Bali I want to do with them for midwifery experience when I actually do start uni and do my lecture placements. But they're not opened, and I don't think they're opening until, I think, March next year, and that could even be diverted, so who knows, because this whole COVID. So they know you haven't been able to get the experience you need this year, so don't worry too much about not having experience compared to someone else who has had loads of experience. Like, regarding me, no one's allowed to just deliver a baby, do you know what I mean? But thankfully the midwife my sister had was really lovely, and my sister told her all about the things I've done, gone to Tanzania, Ghana. So she obviously allowed me to get involved with her help, obviously. But no one's going to be able to get experience like that, let's be real, unless you have a home birth. And again, a lot of people can't afford to go travelling to Africa to get experience like I did. Or like, it's quite hard to get midwifery experience anyway in the UK. I was thankful my hospital allowed experience, but I tried to get it again and I wasn't able to, because I don't know what they're doing with it now. But just email all your local hospitals and stuff. Try and get as much experience obviously as you can. Like, for example, you can't even go to care homes now, so, but talk things related to your job and everything, because like I said, you can relate that to midwifery, relate your schoolwork and stuff. If you're able to do things in school like the baby project and stuff, do that, which I've spoken about in experience in the videos before. So yeah, so don't stress too much. Obviously I know it's a stressful period. I was stressed when I was writing my personal statement, but in the end it is worth it, and you will become the midwife you always have wanted to become. So yeah, just kind of prepare, plan, don't rush. It's a slow process, but you will get there. Always ask for feedback, because feedback is so important, and then you can work from that feedback. So yeah, so anyways, I hope this video is a little bit helpful. Obviously once I do get my place, because what I'm going to do is, because next week is my, what video is it? I can't even remember. Oh, it's getting into midwifery school, so it's talking about interviews and stuff like that, and everything you need, basically. It's just a guide to getting into midwifery. And then the week after is how to prepare for your midwifery degree. I've had a lot of information from several midwives, student midwives, about how to prepare and stuff, which I've written a whole list so I can prepare myself for September next year. So I'm going to give that video to you guys too. So then in January, when I pass my maths, fingers crossed, because I feel like the exam went really well, so I'm very proud of myself and I think I did good. So yes, yeah, I think I did good. So I'm hoping I passed. I think I did. I'm putting it in the universe that I passed. So I'm going to do a video of me blind reacting to my results, basically. And also I vlogged a little bit in the morning of the exam. So yeah, and then I'm also going to put a little bit of my UCAS personal statement in there. Like when I applied, and then obviously when I got my unconditional offer, because I will be getting one straight away, thankfully, because I was meant to be starting in January, if you don't know, but that got sidetracked. So I am in a bit of a fortunate circumstance that they said that they were still giving me my place, so I won't have to do the interview or the tests again. So I will put that all in that video, and also at the end I will put how to enter the giveaway for the Getting Into Midwifery bundle I have created for you guys. So yeah, that's me rambled. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. I hope you guys have a lovely Christmas, because Christmas is next week. So today's Sunday. No, today's Friday or Saturday. I can't remember what day we're on. So that means Christmas is a week, just under a week. So yeah, I hope you have a good Christmas. Obviously I am uploading on Christmas Day, which is decorating our house for Christmas, but I'm not actually talking to you guys that day, so that was like pre-recorded, obviously, because we're not decorating our house on Christmas Day. Anyway, I'm rambling. Like, don't do that on your personal statement. So I will see you guys next week. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel down below, and hit the notification bell to be uploaded every time we upload. We do upload every Friday at 6 PM and every Sunday at 4 PM. Those will be changing around once I start uni, because I want to upload more, give you loads of content. Yeah, so I will see you on Friday. Bye guys.